Bogović exposed the wrong translations of the original writings and the wrong citation of the archive, where in both cases the words Serb, Serbian are inserted. Marko Jačov went to the Vatican to paraphrase the title of his book, To the Balkan Mission to the Vatican. In this picture we see the original text and the insertion of the words Serbian, Serb. It is this part where the original is mistranslated. The numbers in front indicate the file numbers. In this picture we see where Jačov wrongly quoted the text of the original, in which he simply added the word Serbian. All these are just partial examples, so in both cases, with wrong translations and wrong citations of the original, one can go on indefinitely. Marko Jačov did not create this practice, but continues it. His predecessors are Aleksa Ivić, Nikodim Milaš, Jovan Radonić, to name just a few. None of them has clarified on what basis he allows himself such translations and conversions, so neither does Jačov. In addition to these two types of errors, there is a third. Namely, he translates the word Serviani as if it were for Serbs as people or nation. But, this term was generally used for Orthodox. For example, where it was clear that they were Bulgarians, who were Servians by religion. For example, the Russian Tsar is in one case called a Serb, and the Catholic Šokac, where neither Šokac nor the Serb in that context are nation or people denominations, but religious ones. In comparison, the word Croat never meant a religious term. Etymologically, the word Service also meant slave. Thus, in one case, the Croat Ljutiša ended up as slave, Servius. One of our 7 Croats, Ljutiša, has been employed for 2 months on the estates of the split nobleman Petar Black, who held large estates. I will cover this bloody roof. Hello Ljutiša. Ljutiša does not work for a salary. He has recently become Petrov's service, that is, a slave. He came to such a position because he borrowed 2 ducats from Petar Black, which he could not repay. He was therefore forced to repay the debt by slave labor, which was normal at the time. The fourth type of error is his complete disregard for the ambiguity of the word vlach, about which there is a vast literature, in historical manuals, encyclopedias, and professional literature. Jačov himself writes why he went to the Vatican, so let's quote, "Working on this book was an integral part of my obligations as a research associate at the Historical Institute in Belgrade, on the project history of the Serbian people under foreign rule from the XVI to the 18th century. And he also writes, I conducted my scientific research in the archives of the Congregation for the Propagation of the Faith, under the direct supervision of academician Radovan Samardžić, who trained me for this type of work. He had the material support not only of Serbian institutions, but also of the Vatican. In this context, Jačov thanked Professor Drive, Pierre Dupré, Secretary of the Catholic Cooperation Committee and the Secretariat for Christian Unity. Let's try to clarify when entry of Saivism into the Vatican occurred. Here is the recording. Here we see the cardinal behind whom is Marko Jačov. What you see is an assignment, an honorary doctorate obtained by Marko Jačov, by right hand of Pope John Paul II, his cardinal, Lex Zeus. How Jačov came to this cardinal as a researcher. The Serbs began implementing their 1986 Serbian memorandum. The process for the beatification of Aleksa Stepenak has begun. The key Serb institution was the Serbian Academy of Sciences, SANU. They started sending their people to the Vatican, archives, church schools. Serbs were sponsored, for example, by Asian Cattolica. Catholics sponsored Saivism. Italians think it's ecumenism, it's spirituality to them. Italians do not understand Saivism. Jačov was sent to the Vatican by SANU academician Radovan Samardžić. SANU was the architect of crimes during the breakup of Yugoslavia. Samardžić dealt with various topics, including the Serbian identity of Dubrovnik. Marko Jačov was born in Dalmatia, Serbia. Jačov was sent to the Vatican to investigate the Serbian origin of Dalmatia. Jačov entered the archives with the support of the Italians. Because Serb and Italians have a common interest to destroy the Croatian identity of Dalmatia. The most Italian historiography considers Dalmatia an Italian country. Jačov denies the Croatian identity of Dalmatia and argues that all Vlachs and Dalmatians are in fact Serbs. Just as they sang "We Two Brothers Fight Together" in World War II, so Serbs and Italians work together today. So Tommaso Del Vera and the entire Italian historiographical team gave him a place at the University of Lecce. And Jačov spreads those ideas. JACHOV worked on the destruction of the Croatian identity of Dalmatia, as did the Italians only on the Italian side. We see that JACHOV was given an honorary doctorate. How he got to that position? You know that the Englishman who was in Belgrade or Sarajevo, if he was alone, returned married to a Serbian woman. Serbian services follow everything, they are serious. JACHOV marries a Polish woman named Marija Domini, with whom he has a son Milos. That Polish researcher Maria had access to the papal cardinal, and JACHOV came to that cardinal through Maria. And through that cardinal all the doors were open to JACHOV. That cardinal was with heart and soul with Aleksa Stepanak. And we see what they were capable of doing. When JACHOV did everything he needed to do, entered the Vatican institutions, delegitimized the Croatian identity of Dalmatia as well as the Italian one, he divorced his wife in an ugly way, declaring her a psychiatric patient. And JACHOV is today authority in Europe for Dalmatia. JACHOV publishes pamphlets in a Vatican magazine called La Civiltà Cattolica, a semi-official Vatican newspaper whose issue cannot be published without being seen by the Vatican Secretary of State. JACHOV publishes in La Civiltà Cattolica. I have noticed something during the War of the 90s, when foreigners, expert historians from various countries, university professors, theologians, bishops, etc. came. When it comes to the relationship between Catholics and Orthodox, they think that we are in conflict over their orthodoxy, and they with us regarding our Catholicism. And that doesn't matter. They did not send us theologians, rather they have sent us those interested in Jasenovac, and they did not even know the issue of Jasenovac in the right way. They even sent atheists. I was once with those who wrote the memorandum in 1986. I could not notice that they believed in God, it did not matter to them. And as for the defense of the Serb ideology, they came here with an arsenal of arguments. So it was not a conflict between Orthodoxy and Catholicism. When Savism Patriarch Iranij came to Croatian Dalmatia, he said that it was a Serbian land that needed to be annexed. We Serbs tried the war, we failed, so we will try the new memorandum. This is Savism. It is not a sin, that their desire is to defend the state and the people. But a spiritual institution such as the Church should not identify with state political goals, which accept violence, lies and everything else. That's actually the crux of the problem in my book. That the Serbian Orthodox Church follows political programs of the Serbian state. You can find more videos about Croatian history on English, on this playlist on my channel.